Authors in the Writers Speaking Out campaign are raising awareness and also publicly condemning politicians in South Carolina that want to take funding out of colleges that assign gay-friendly books to their students. Now, it's ridiculous that lawmakers are trying to do that, especially since we're talking about college students, adults. But the lawmakers say, hey, you know what? We don't like these gay-friendly themes, and we also don't like the graphic sexual content in the books. Now, some of the authors that are part of this campaign say the following: only morons and mean children are afraid of free speech and fairness to all. Another author, Richard Ford, says the encouraging thing is that ignorant censorship of this sort doesn't work in the long run. People are who they are. The discouraging thing is that the boneheads in South Carolina legislature haven't figured that out. They will.
Am I the only one who thinks bonehead is a funny word?
I've never used bonehead before. It sounds like it's from the 60s or something, but whatever. I mean, do you if you like it.
Okay. I tell ya, that guy's a bonehead. That's what he is. Okay. So obviously they're right. Dennis Lehane, by the way, wrote Gone Baby Gone, which is great. It's discouraging to see that we're in 2014. Like, if this had happened when I was growing up in 1984, I was only 14 at the time, but I feel like I would have been discouraged back then. Mm-hmm. You know, all 30 years later, this stuff is not only continues to happen, but is happening at an even higher rate than it used to. I mean, there was a long stretch of time where I don't remember seeing any news stories about censorship and like, let's pick out the gay books and burn them and then take away money from all of education. And so that goes to something you were saying actually before we got on air, Anna. Mm-hmm. It seems like it's kind of an underhanded way of taking down all of education. Like, oh yes, we did not like these gay books. We are going to have to defund public education.
And for them, it's like a double whammy. It's like killing two birds with one stone, right? They don't like the pro-gay, pro-sex books, literature, whatever it is. And so they get to use that as an excuse to defund public education. And they want to defund education all across the board. It's not just about grade school. They want to get rid of community colleges. They want to get rid of public institutions. Not necessarily get rid of them, but they want to stop spending taxpayer dollars on that. So, you know, they can cut taxes for the rich and do whatever they want for corporations that they're looking out for. So it makes me sick to my stomach to know that this kind of censorship is still something that right-wingers are pushing for in the country. You cannot censor books, especially when you're on a college campus. These are adults. Okay, most of them have already had sex. If you're trying to shelter them from anything related to homosexuality or sexuality, you're absolutely ridiculous, and you shouldn't be an elected official.
Right, and you know, they say, look, there's graphic terms in these books about pornography, fetishes, masturbation, multiple sex partners, etc. Okay, but as Anna said, they're adults. So it's like, what, is their head gonna explode if a 20-year-old hears about, masturbation?
So
I mean,
stupid.
what do we live in 1885? But even back then they didn't think that, right? It's just, so this prudishness is really a cover. Anna's 100% right about that. And you got to wonder if you're on the right side of things, if you're on the side trying to make sure people don't get educated. So when you're trying to block anything that's an idea, a book, things along those lines, there's some chance that you can't handle the truth. So, I mean, if you thought they were wrong, then it would be easy for you, right? It wouldn't be a big deal. Like, I would never try to block the Bible, right? Like, how counterproductive would that be? Right? Mm-hmm. I would encourage you to read the Bible. I don't agree with it, but that's why if you read it, I think you'll come to agree with me.
Every time the government bans something, you want to do it more. You're wondering why the government's banning a particular book, right? You're going to want to read that book more. You're going to want to educate yourself.
Question.
So maybe they're going to do a big service to people. They're going to spark this intellectual curiosity, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very analogous to what happened, Cenk, when you and I were growing up with the artist. Was it Mapplethorpe?
Mapplethorpe.
Yeah, who did the Jesus painting and with the elephant dung and all that kind of stuff. And people were outraged. We're not spending taxpayer money to fund this filth. It's a very similar mentality, and it's a matter of line drawing. So, you know, I'm not agreeing with the legislatures here, but I'm just giving voice to them. What they would say, this is filth. We don't want to fund it. If they want to, study, Hamlet and Shakespeare, fine, but we're not going to pay for pornographic books given to our students.
All right. So, last thing on this is that I think there's a world of difference between just art and education, because part of education is you got to take risks and you got to be able to try different things and see and experience all that. So if you try to say, well, that goes a little over the line or that goes a little over the line, well, then you're really stopping one of the main aims of education, which is to broaden your horizons and to try different things. And so, and plus, I don't know, I might be wrong about this, but I view books as in a totally different category than I do art. I was against funding Mapplethorpe back then. Remember, I'm a Republican, et cetera. I'm still split on that a little bit because it's like, I don't care about his art. So it's not, it didn't even offend me before, but I thought it offends a lot of people. Why are they forced to pay for something that offends them? And art is not something that, in my opinion, has to be public. I know there's a lot of debate about that.
Yeah,
but we don't necessarily have to pay taxpayer money on it. But education, it's really important that it be public and that there be a broad exercise of that.